want to experience transcendental kirtans together. We want to celebrate the festivals together, and we want to study and discuss spiritual knowledge together. And so this is the vision of the Simha Sena, and this Simha Mela is one of the most beautiful projects of the Simha Sena. But we also have to remember that the Simha Mela cannot just happen by itself. It is the fruit of the dedication of so many who have really, really worked hard to make this possible. And I cannot name all names, but we have, of course, Gita Mataji here, our main contact person for this event here in Simhachalam. We have Alex, we have Yogamaya, Jadurani, so many here who have been, and many, many more. There's so much happening behind the scenes, and we should all really show our appreciation. So maybe we could really chant Hare Krishna 3 times together loud for all of them who have made this possible here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So yes, thank you so much, and let us go forward, united and inspired as Simha Sena, as Nrsingadev's army, as Nrsingadev's children, and let us grow, serve together, and also shine on this path of bhakti. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Shrishti, for introducing the Simha Sena project. And now I will talk a little bit about the Simha Mela. Most of us just started by online meetings, WhatsApp groups, Zoom calls and Instagram posts, but those meetings gave us so much energy and inspiration, but now we thought it's really time to meet in person. So, because by being together, singing kirtan, serving, doing activities, sharing prasadam, and spending real time together creates an experience that no screen can replace. And that's the inspiration behind the Simha Mela. So to take the love and enthusiasm to share that we shared online and bring it here face to face, to make it even more powerful, beautiful, and real. So please feel at home. It's a family. If you have any questions, we are there for you. And if it's your first time in a temple, don't be shy. Try out new things, try out new instruments, dance, sing, ask questions, and learn from each other. So let's all experience the powerful mercy and energy that Lord Nrsingadev has created here in Simhachalam. We wish you all a wonderful time here, and let the Simha Mela 2025 begin. Nrsingadev ki jai! Adivo!
Plastic में डालना दिए जाओ. Okay, so keeping with the happy, jolly mood, we'll sing a little bit different tune, but just follow along and make sure everybody claps and sings loudly, okay? Okay. So. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodha Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana 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 Yamuna Tiravana Chari Yamuna Tiravana Chari Jamuna Tiravana Chari Jamuna Tiravana Chari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jai Nitai Gaur Premanandi.
Hare Krishna. So, Gopi Gita Mataji asked us to introduce ourselves shortly. So, I think maybe I'll introduce you. You can introduce me. So, this is Paramahamsa Gaura Prabhu. Currently, he's serving here as our head cook. He's an amazing cook. He can cook any flavor. If you were here for Balaram Purnima last year, no, Janmashtami last year, he made all the rasas in a meal. So, amazing cook, a very good friend. We actually met in the Polish tour. He was probably 12, 13, and I was 18, something like this, 20. And yeah, we were serving together both in the stage crew. There was the crew who was setting up, breaking down the stage, doing the light system for the Polish tour for our Gurudev in the Juna Maharaj. So, yes, and of course, we have a very similar background, actually. Both our parents are German, our mothers are German, and our parents are South American, Peruvian or Ecuadorian, in Paramahamsa Gaura's case. And actually, much later, we realized actually our parents did meet in Peru many, many years ago. So there's a connection. So maybe around 3 years ago, I asked his brother, I knew he was very busy, but I still asked him, you want to come? We need a new cook, a new pujari, please come. And then he said, take my brother. He said he's 10 times the better, 100 times the better cook, 1,000 times the better, what he said, brahmana, and 1,000,000 times the better devotee. So, Hare Krishna. Paramahamsa Gaura Prabhu ki jai.
Humbling words. Govinda Prabhu, of course, all of you must have already heard about him. Govinda Prabhu is our temple president here, and like he said, we met many years ago, and we would come to visit him here in Simhachalam, visit his family, him and his 2 brothers. But it's really amazing to see the devotee he's become, to see the manager he is. If anyone was here any time of the year, you'll see him in the garden, you'll see him building something, you'll see him fixing the sound system, you'll see him on the altar, you'll see him washing pots. Anything that's needed, Govinda Prabhu is there. So he's definitely the best temple president, manager, and on the other side, friend, very dear friend of mine, has become even closer, even though we were already friends. We haven't spoken in many years, but it was like just straight back into where we left off. And so it's been amazing being able to serve him, being able to help him in anything he needs. I've learned more than I can imagine from him, how to do anything and everything that's needed for Krishna's service, and to be happy to do it also, which is the most amazing. Yeah, he's always happy to do anything that's needed. So that's something I very much admire in him. And there's no need to say more. You will get to see the amazing devotee he is. And anyone you speak to, you will hear so much of his glories and how much he's able to do for everyone and anyone who needs his help. Yeah, so Govinda Deva Prabhu ki Jai.
I'm not a good manager, but maybe the rest. Okay, so we'll read actually now from the Srimad-Bhagavatam. Since the topic is friendship, there's one very nice verse. So maybe we can push the board closer here. If the verse is on it, it should be from the 4th canto. Yeah, I'm on the wrong one here. Yeah, so 4th canto, chapter 30, verse 8. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha. No? Oh, it didn't end up, so you have to hear attentively then. Okay. So it's a verse from the Srimad-Bhagavatam, 4th canto, chapter 30. That's the pastimes of the Prachetas. Who has heard about the Prachetas? Okay, they're not so well known, but they're a very interesting story in the Srimad-Bhagavatam. They performed, there's 3 chapters dedicated to them in the Srimad-Bhagavatam. And in the first chapter, their father asked them to get married. And they said, before we get married, we want to go and perform some austerities, meditate, prepare ourselves. And they are lucky enough that traveling westwards, they see this beautiful, huge lake. And there's all kinds of different lotus flowers. And from the lotus flowers and the lake, Shiva emerges. And Shiva speaks the Rudra Gita, a set of verses where Shiva is glorifying the Lord and instructing the Prachetas. So the Prachetas take this Rudra Gita and recite it for 10,000 years underwater, together. 10 of them, I should mention. 10 brothers performing austerities together. And after these austerities are done, that's where we are right now, here, beginning of the last 2 chapters dedicated to them. And here we have Lord Vishnu talking to them. So please repeat word by word. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Varang Vrinidvam Bhadram Vo Varam Vinidvam Bhadram Vo Yuyang Me Nripam Nandanaham Yujang Me Nripam Nandanaham Sauham Denam Apritak Dharmas Suha Ardena Pritak Dharmas Tushto Hang Sauhridenam Vaham Tushto Ahang Sauhridenam Vaham. Okay, word by word. Shri Bhagavan Vacham. The Supreme Personality of God had said, Varam, benediction. Vrinidvam, ask. Bhadram, good fortune. Vaha, of you. Yuyam, you. Me, from me. Nripanandanaha. O sons of the king, Sauhardena, by friendship, Apritak, non-different, Dharmaha, occupation, Tushtaha, pleased, Aham, I, Sauhridena, by friendship, Vaham, of you. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear sons of the King, I am very much pleased by the friendly relationships among you. All of you are engaged in one occupation, devotional service. I am so pleased with your mutual friendship that I wish you all good fortune. Now you may ask a benediction of me." Shri Shri Praladakshani Singari Bhagwan Ki Jai. Purport. Since the sons of King Prachinabarhishat were all united in Krishna consciousness, the Lord was very pleased with them. Each and every one of the sons of King Prachinabarhishat was an individual soul, but they were united in offering transcendental service to the Lord. The unity of the individual souls attempting to satisfy the Supreme Lord or rendering service to the Lord is real unity. In the material world, such unity is not possible. Even though people may officially unite, they all have different interests. In the United Nations, for instance, all the nations have their particular national ambitions, and consequently, they cannot be united. This unity between individual souls is so strong within this material world that even in a society of Krishna consciousness, members sometimes appear disunited due to having different opinions and leaning towards material things. Actually, in Krishna consciousness, there cannot be two opinions. There is only one goal, to serve Krishna to one's best ability. If there is some disagreement over service, such disagreement is to be taken as spiritual. Those who are actually engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be disunited in any circumstance. This makes the Supreme Personality of Godhead very happy and willing to award all kinds of benediction to His devotees, as indicated in this verse. We can see that the Lord is immediately prepared to award all benedictions to the sons of King Prachinabarhishat. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitamtam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopipakanta Radhakanta Namostate Jayatam Surato Pangor Mamamanda Matirgati Matsarvasva Padambojo Radhamadana Mohano Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumada Srimadartangara Simhasanasto Srimadrada Srila Govinda Deva Uprashtarivi Samimano Smarami Srimandra Sarasaramvi Vamsiva Tatatastitaha Karsham Veno Swanar Gopir Gopinata Shriyastanaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishavano Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I'll read the verse again. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Varam Vinidvam Bhadram Vo Yuyam Me Nripanandanaha Sauhardena Pritak Dharmas Tushtohang Sauhride Nabaha. The Supreme Personality of God had said, "My dear sons of the King, I am very much pleased by the friendly relationships among you. All of you are engaged in one occupation, devotional service. I am so pleased with your mutual friendship that I wish you all good fortune. Now you may ask a benediction of me." Hare Krishna. So this is a very nice verse. I remember the first time I read it a few times. And I also heard a few lectures and commentaries. And I think even Prabhupada cites this somewhere else also. And the point that is striking is that the Lord was not actually happy or impressed by the incredible austerity they did. You know, after all, they were 10,000 years underwater. You know, world record of diving. So they were 10,000 years under the water reciting the Rudra Gita. But what actually impressed the Lord was the relationships they had with each other. They had very friendly relationships of cooperation, and this mutual friendship is what actually pleased the Lord. So this is a very powerful hint at how to actually, I would say, become successful quite easily. Because you can try to do it by yourself, on your own strength, so to say. But the reality is that in association, everything becomes much more natural, and not only natural, very often things you think you're not able to do or willing to do, in association, they suddenly become possible. So in the Bhagavad Gita, we have this, in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, of the 12th chapter, Krishna is talking about different options, how to approach him. And the highest idea is to completely, 100% always think of him without any deviation. And of course, for most people, that's not easy or possible. So Krishna realistically gives a few other options as well. So he gives the highest at the beginning, and then he gives different options how you can start to get to the ideal situation. And of course, I forgot which chapter, also in the Bhagavad Gita, in the beginning, Krishna is comparing the two different paths, the path of impersonal approach, and actually Arjuna is comparing this path as being very stony and rocky, difficult, whereas the path of Bhakti Yoga is compared to be very smooth and actually easy. So, and the reason is obvious, because everybody wants friendships, everybody wants to be happy, and usually most people will equate the value of life to their friendships. When there's different service you can make and have been made, and very often a common service, what is life for you? What does life mean for you? And some people might give scientific definition, modern materialistic scientific definition, that life is just a combination of physical, biological, and chemical reactions. That's life, I just read in the magazine, when I meet somebody I like, it's just hormones, popping up. It's not real. So you can explain everything from a, very material, chemical, biological, physical point of view. And in a similar way, you can also explain everything from a very philosophical point of view. Actually, this material body, this existence, you can study Sankhya Yoga, how this body is made up and how you can dissolve your material entanglement. And it's all very interesting to know, to study Sankhya Yoga. If you have an analytical mind, Sankhya Yoga might be very pleasing, interesting, how, nature is manifested and you can escape from it as well again. But ultimately, for most people, it's very abstract. Most people, when they're asked, what is life? The vast majority will answer love or friendships. That's what is really life, or makes life worth living. So in many places, of course, also we will find warnings, to not be attached to king and family, for example, So king means like, your friends, basically, the people around you, your village, your family, your country, your nation. Don't be attached to that. If you're attached to that, you will remain entangled in this world. So, and at the same time, we're hearing here that the friendship between these 10 brothers was what actually pleased the Lord. So there seems to be something missing. Maybe there's a missing link, or you could also say there is a danger of misunderstanding. When we study the philosophy, you can get this impersonal misunderstanding. The misunderstanding that you should reject relationships, you should reject persons, and you should not get too attached, Be careful if you notice you're becoming too emotional, or then you block, But and it has been done also in ISKCON, on a society-wide level, that devotee is misunderstood, very often in connection to families and children, that our children, it's Maya, basically, or my wife or my husband it's Maya, And in Gurukul, I remember our common way we talked to each other was, if you liked somebody, was, who are you in Maya with, That's how we were trained, Who's your Maya, But it doesn't have to be Maya, Because if the relationship is centered around Krishna, it becomes real. And philosophically in Sankhya Yoga, it's also explained, and Prabhupada made it very simple by translating the word ahankara differently. So ahankara, there's so many translations, but Prabhupada used false ego. So if there's a false ego, there must be a real ego. So that's the implication. False ego is when we look outwards and are selfish, self-centered. But the moment we actually use anything we have, anything we are or can, in relationship with Krishna, it becomes real ego. So we don't want to kill ego. In Berlin, when I was a brahmachari, there were some Buddhists, some radical Buddhists, and they were graffiti artists also. So they were tagging the whole city with "kill ego," And we philosophically disagreed. It's like because we don't want to kill the ego. We don't want to kill any form of relationship or personality. That's not our philosophy. Our philosophy is to transcend the false ego and find the real ego. So I'll conclude this shortly, and then there's two main stories I would like to talk to. Paramahamsa Gaura can also talk about it. Sudama Brahmana is a very interesting story, and of course Krishna and Arjuna. And also there's a verse in the Bhagavad Gita about friendship. But the conclusion about the topic I wanted to present in the beginning is that that we should really understand that we should not be shy of finding who we really are, basically, because sometimes we can hide behind, a very strong sadhana maybe, or I know a lot, or all kinds of things you can hide behind. But what actually truly matters is your actual personality, how far you really are in progress, how much compassion you actually feel in your heart, for other living entities. true friendship. You know, the verse in the Bhagavad Gita talks about. This is considered to be, Prabhupada says, the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and friendship is also in that verse. So, yes, we should be careful not to slide into impersonal calamity, as Srila Prabhupada called it. You know, it is a true calamity, and of course, the other side we can talk about tomorrow, because tomorrow is the topic is about cooperation and difficulties in cooperation, when it's not easy, you know. When everything is smooth sailing, everything is awesome, you know. You like everybody. But when it's not so easy, then you might start hating some people, you know. Or yourself, you know. So, yeah, there we can talk more about the pitfalls of sahajaism, you know, when you think that everything you actually instinctively feel is actually you. You know? So that's the first warning in the Yoga Sutras, you know, not everything you feel is actually you, you know? And that's the big mistake, that you think, I'm angry, so that's me who's angry. The moment you realize you can control it, you know, you can decide, you know, to act or not act on certain emotions, you actually practice yoga. Okay, so I want to stop here and emphasize there are real friendships, there are real loving relationships. We do not think in the Bhagavad philosophy, we hear from the Srimad-Bhagavatam very clearly, we don't think that all variety of friendships and relationships are temporary or unreal. There are eternal relationships. You know? And they begin with each other and relationship to Krishna. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai. So yes, two very famous stories on friendship are of course Sudama Brahmana and Arjuna. And I just wanted to hear from Gaura a few thoughts on that, and then we can exchange. And also if you have something you want to add, we can make it a little bit more interactive.
Jai. Okay. So Hare Krishna. Everybody still awake? Yeah. So Govinda Prabhu asked me to speak on these two pastimes, these two friendships, eternal friendships that are there, and there's many more you'll find in Bhagavatam. But just before I begin on that, I would like to speak a little bit on the importance of friendship, yeah, because I think that's something that Prabhu touched on very nicely, and something that it pleased the Lord so much. Of course, we hear from Srila Prabhupada, he says, if you want to show how much you love me, show me by how you cooperate with each other, right? So this is something Prabhupada really looked for. Yeah, how big ISKCON becomes, how many preaching programs and all this is just the show of how much we're cooperating. It's not, oh, look at the numbers. Look how many millions we've collected. Look how many, thousands we've affected. No, it's how we're cooperating. That means that we really understand that the process of devotional service is about exchanges of love between devotees and between the Lord. Yeah, so that is the real purpose of devotional service, and we see that by the verse that Krishna is saying, right? The Lord is saying that you have pleased me by your cooperation, how you have interacted with each other in devotional service. So you've understood. Yeah, it's not about pushing people away, as Govinda Prabhu said. It's not about in isolation, withdrawing everything and trying to only put you and the Lord before everyone else. That's not the process, right? We are dasa dasanu dasaha, the servant of the servant of the servant. That means that we already have a few relationships between us and Krishna. Yeah, these relationships are that of friend, of superior, of equals, of juniors. So many different relationships are there between us and Krishna, between us and Radharani, between us and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So if we understand that, then we see the importance of friendship. Yeah, it's not just me and the Lord and everyone else can go to hell. That's not the way it works. Yeah, it's not just me and him and all of you are in Maya. Yeah, no, it doesn't work like that. Yeah, there's no chance for us without friendships. And I was contemplating as Prabhu was talking that we have our nectar of instruction. Who here has even heard of nectar of instruction? Heard of it? Many, right? And who's read all the way through? Still some, yeah. So in nectar of instruction, it's so clearly put out the necessity of proper relationship with devotees. Yeah, first, Srila Rupa Goswami, he gives the pitfalls. What are the things that you have to be careful for? Right? He gives the different urges that we have in this body that are so strong that if someone's able to control them, he can have disciples all over the world. Right? Then he speaks about the different things that destroy your bhakti. Right? Over-accumulating, greed, association with non-devotees, so many different things like this. But finally, when he starts telling the positives, some of the first things he says is how to develop relationship with devotees. Yeah, dadati pratigrishnati guhyam akyati prichati bhunkte bojayate chaiva shadvidam priti lakshanam. Right? So the loving exchanges, the 6 loving exchanges between devotees. Right? And 2 of them are prasadam. I always like to point that out. Sorry, it's my cook nature. Yeah, 2 of 6. So we have a very good proportion here, yeah? And I always found it interesting how prasadam is separated from gifts. You have giving and serving and receiving prasadam, right? Serving prasadam, eating prasadam. Giving gifts and receiving gifts. So it's separate. You would think that wouldn't it be the same thing? But it's not. Because sarira vijayal jyotendriya tahekal jive fele vijay sagure. The tongue is the most difficult to control. Right? Jihva vegam, the first one the Rupa Goswami describes. It's the most difficult to control. So without prasadam, where would we be? Without the mercy of Krishna, that gives us that facility to be able to engage this most difficult sense in Krishna's service. So by exchanging prasadam, we are strengthening our relationships. By giving gifts and receiving gifts, we are strengthening our relationships. And by revealing our mind and confidence. This is a point that Govinda Prabhu mentioned, that we can show ourselves as being something else than what we really are. But friends and relationships is what help us really feel comfortable to bring out those things that we may not feel that people will accept. And we want to make a facade of who we are. I am this person. I know this much. I can do this many things. And if I'm not that person, no one will like me. If I don't act like that person, no one will accept me. But Krishna always accepts you. So by practicing letting people accept you for who you are and accepting people for who they are and helping them progress in Krishna consciousness, we become more open to open ourselves to Krishna. Yeah, it's that picture you see in Bhagavad Gita, right? The bird is watching the other bird eat the fruit. So Super Soul is there. He's seeing everything you do, everything you think, everything you feel, all the time, eternally. But we think that nobody knows. They only see my perfect tilak and my perfect sari and dhoti. That's all they see. No, he's seeing everything eternally, but we don't want to show that to him. Even though he sees it. Right? Even though he sees all our mistakes, still we think that no, I don't want to open myself up. Maybe he won't accept me. Right? There's sometimes I hear devotees or non-devotees make the excuse that I'm too fallen to serve Krishna. I'm too fallen to go to the Lord, to go to the temple. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's inside. He's seeing everything you're doing anyway. Whether you go to the temple or not, doesn't make a difference, right? So this relationship we have with devotees is what helps us bring that person out and help him come through, get out of these difficulties we're going through, however subtle or gross they may be. Yeah, and you see in material culture, they have the same programs. Someone struggling with alcoholism or drug addiction, they go to meetings where they can speak their mind openly. And like that, they feel that they're not alone. Someone struggling with some other addictions, it's all in groups. Someone struggling with some difficulty, they go and speak to a psychologist, right? And they express those things because they know the psychologist won't judge them, right? And won't tell anyone else, right? So, guhyam akyati prichati. In confidence, you reveal your mind. Rupa Goswami is expressing it. Yeah? No need to go to psychologists. You have so many friends. Just express yourself. But we're afraid. They will judge me. They will reject me. They won't understand me. But we've never tried. Yeah? So the importance of friendship in devotional service cannot be understated. Cannot be underestimated. Because that's all we have. Loving relationships between devotees, and when the Lord sees that loving relationships, then he sees this person has understood. This person is working towards the right goal. It's not just me and him, it's everyone else in between. Yeah? There's the famous Mukunda Datta, Chaitanya Charitamrita, who said, "Let me stay here." Yeah, right? Mukunda Datta. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him what benediction he wanted, Vasudev Datta, yeah. Vasudev Ghosh? Vasudev Datta. Anyway. Sorry, Prabhu? Vasudev Datta. Yeah, so when Mahaprabhu asked him what benediction he wanted, he said, let everyone else go back to Godhead and let me stay here and suffer for everything they've done wrong. Right? Because he understands that Krishna is the most pleased when all of his devotees are being served. So he thought that this is the best service I can do for Krishna. Being with Krishna is nice, but serving the devotees and getting them to Krishna is better. So he really understood, and it pleased Mahaprabhu so much. Right? So this is what we have to understand. The importance of friendship and the importance of cooperation is the whole principle of devotional service and the whole principle of this life, like Govinda Prabhu said. People judge your life based on your relationships. So even on a material level, if you want to improve relationships, you have to start exchanging gifts, feeding prasadam, revealing your mind, yeah, taking out that inner person that you're scared anyone will see, and letting that person come out and speak to people, and letting them say that, no, it's okay. That's okay. We're all struggling. And he will say something that he's struggling with, and you'll be like, oh, I'm not alone. Yeah, it's okay. And still we try. Still we go to Mangalarti. It's not that, okay, the next day, that's it. No more dhoti, no more nothing, no more tilak. No, we're still trying, but we understand that inner desires or those inner suffering we're going through is okay, and we're able to deal with it, and it's not the end of the world. Yeah, so this is the importance. Okay, now going into the two pastimes that Govinda Prabhu mentioned. I thought it would be important to start first with Arjuna and Krishna, yeah, because we're speaking about Gita a lot. So in this pastime, in this friendship of Krishna and Arjuna is so amazing because of the flips it takes once the Bhagavad Gita starts speaking. Before that, there's so many pastimes, Krishna and Arjuna doing this, Krishna and Arjuna doing that, playing, joking with each other, harassing each other, so many funny things they do, right? But when it comes to the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, the roles that they're taking is so amazing, right? In the beginning, Arjuna is asking questions, and he's in this whole mental illusion, and Krishna is just supporting him, comforting him, yeah? But once Arjuna takes the disciple role, and he says that I am your disciple, you instruct me, then he accepts Krishna as his spiritual master, even though they're equals as far as social status goes. So this ability to be able to actually listen and hear a friend's instructions and take it to heart, for that one has to have no envy. And this is something that I was listening to Mahatma Prabhu speak. He was speaking on friendship. And he said, in this material world, as soon as two equals come, the natural sense is competition. You're this, I'm better at that. And you can do this, I can do more of that, right? Whatever you can do, I can do better. I can do everything better than you. Everybody knows this song? It's an English poem. It's a very funny. And it's just basically saying that whatever you can do, I can do better. I can do everything better than you, right? So this is the relationship between friends if there's not proper understanding. You think you're friends, but all you're doing is making yourself feel better, putting someone next to you that you think is worse. You're putting him down to make yourself feel better. So you'll surround yourself with people, not who can help you, but people who make you look good. That's not friendship. Arjuna and Krishna's relationship is the proof of that. They were best friends. But what did Krishna do for Arjuna when the time was needed? He took the superior role, he took the instructive role, and he got Arjuna out of this mental distress that he was in. This calamity we cannot imagine Arjuna was going through. Seeing his teacher, his friends, his family, ready to fight with him. And he knew he was going to kill them all because he knew Krishna was with him, but he was still suffering, right? It wasn't fear of death. It was just fear of such destruction, and for what? For greed. Right? So this calamity that Arjuna was going through, Krishna was able to help him because of their real, true friendship. That's what a friend should be able to do for you. Not simply tell you, oh, it's okay, you're the best, don't worry about it, and just be a yes man. Everybody knows what yes man means? Yes man means that whatever you do, he will say is the best. I robbed a bank. Oh, so cool, man. Yeah, go for it. You be you, right? Oh, I just, stole this much money from a friend. Oh, so cool. I started experimenting with drugs. Yeah, I heard that can be really far out. You be you. That's not a friend. A friend is someone who will give you one heavy duty slap and get you out of that nonsense, right? That's a friend. Someone who knows it doesn't matter if this person never speaks to me again, I will get him out of his problems. And I care for him so much, I would rather do that for him. Yeah? So this is the real friendship, and that's what Krishna did for Arjuna. As soon as the time came, Krishna took the role and did the proper thing. And Arjuna, being a proper friend, wasn't like, what are you talking to me, telling me all these instructions? Just yesterday, we're sitting on the same bed, joking with each other, and now you're telling me you're the Supreme Lord. What is this? Telling me about all these nature of the soul. No, Arjuna was like, yes, and he heard it open-heartedly because he knew this person loves me and he'll tell me what is the best for me, without a doubt. That's true friendship. There was no reservation on Arjuna's side. All the questions he put forward were real questions, not challenging questions. That's how you can see that he really was accepting everything that Krishna was saying to him. Yeah. So the importance of friendship cannot be understated, but the importance of real friendship. And to have real friendship, you have to get rid of this envy that we have. The first feeling that comes up when you meet someone who's equal to you is challenging. Who's better? Who's going to be the superior in our friendship? Who's going to be there? No, that cannot be there. The first feeling that should come up should be admiring some quality in the person. Thinking, wow, this person is amazing at this. I want to become more like that. I want to have that quality more. Let me associate with this person because I want to be just as open as he is, just as friendly as she is, just as loving and kind-hearted, just as talented. Then if the relationship is based on admiration and respect, it has the possibility of growing greater. Yeah? So this is real friendship, and that's how you can grow it. And if you want to know more about how to grow and how to develop proper relationships, please read Nectar of Instruction. It's an amazing book, amazing. And Prabhupada's purports in there illuminate us so much and tell us so much of who we are and where we need to go to be able to get to Krishna. Yeah. Then you want to speak about Sudama and Krishna, or
Sudama Brahmana? We have 8 minutes more.
Maybe questions.
Maybe somebody wants to add something, or else we can. Yes.
Yeah.
So I was wondering that because I've heard that we have different kinds of friendships. One friendship might be like somebody that's more advanced than us, and then we get some inspiration from them and we turn to them for advice, etc. And then we have friendships who may be a little bit below us, and then we help them instead. And then we have equal friendships. But at the same time, you're saying that in this equal friendship, we're supposed to be able to switch in the roles, like Krishna and Arjuna did, like guru, disciple. So how does that go together?
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take this one. Yeah. Perfect question. Thank you. Yes. So even inside the roles, these different friendships we have, like you can imagine that there's so many different types of friends. Yeah, there's those people who we can very easily open ourselves to. There's those people who we feel very comfortable doing service with. There's those people who we feel very happy to be with just when we want to read Srimad-Bhagavatam and focus and study. We have a very good discussion. So there's so many different friends that you can have, and those people can be all in one person. Those people can be amongst many people. Prabhu even points out that can be with your parents, that can be with your guru, that you feel that you can open everything out, and he won't judge you, and he will be accepting, and he will help you with those problems. Maybe not even instruct you, just hear you, right? So that can even be with someone so much superior as your guru. It can be even with a junior that you feel that. Yeah. So this different type of friendships doesn't have to be with one person. It can be, but when you have that one person that you're able also to switch roles, then that's more on the equal level. Yeah, because there shouldn't be that I'm always ahead and he's always behind or like that. So amongst equals, then that switching role will happen more. You will see it happen more. Of course, the guru may not confide in you with his troubles. That's maybe not something that would happen. unless he's doing it to help you, which I've experienced sometimes. He will show some side of his struggles to make you understand, oh wow, even he's struggling, I'm okay, you know? But that will be, it's not necessarily so much he's putting himself in an inferior level. But you can have friendship relationships with seniors or juniors, but the switching aspect will be more with equals. But the point, what I was saying is that it's not just one person. And not necessarily all your friends, you will have all the relationships. It may be amongst many. The important part is that you feel that all those parts that you need satisfied are being satisfied by devotees. Then you'll make the progress. Yeah? Mariji has another question. Oh,
There's when you study the rasology, or the 5 rasas, how they evolve from one to the other. The first one is seva, like to serve. The second, of course, is friendship, sakya rasa. And then parental, and then, of course, madhurya, or more confidential. But what is explained is that they build upon each other. So it's not that because you started friendship, you give up service, or now you have your parents, now you give up friendship. So friendship is a quality, you could say also, that you could have in any relationship. There should be friendship. One of the main qualities of friendship is that there should be no fear. And one definition of friendship I thought was really funny is, you know somebody's your real friend if he comes into your house and opens the fridge and just takes something and eats. I mean he's not afraid of you. He's really your friend.
Okay, when you're speaking about developing friendship with Krishna, you have to be careful that you're not thinking that I already want to be Krishna's cowherd boyfriend. This is just want to get that out of the way, yes? So then, of course, Srila Prabhupada always mentions that in the sadhana bhakti process, we are worshipping the Lord as Lakshmi Narayan, right? Because the process in which is of awe and surrender, of servitorship. And so the friendship aspect will be something that will develop later on, right? It's something, of course, you can already go and express, but of course he's more the Father. He's more the Lord, someone that you express your troubles and distresses to for help. So it's more automatically puts you more in that servitor role and that admiring role, rather than that immediately of friendship, if that makes sense. But as Govinda Prabhu said, you can have that relationship with all the rasas. And so once you start really get into the process of devotional service and you see Krishna's hand in everything you do, right? When you start seeing that things that happen to you don't happen to you by chance, right? This is something that we go through. At some point in our devotional service, you start like, wow, the Lord arranged that. And other people, the next person next to you might say, no, that was chance. But you didn't see it as chance. It was, yeah, it's kind of like the son is sitting at the table and boom, plate of prasadam. He had no idea how much work the mother went into it.
So, Prabhuji, do you need qualification to enter in, to have any kind of relationship with the Lord? Means qualification, or it's by the mercy of pure devotee?
Well, devotional service to begin with is nothing that we can qualify ourselves for. It's something by the mercy of the devotees. But when you're speaking about deepening that relationship, it has to be through practice, through sadhana bhakti, and then also through desire for that relationship to be built. Desire is probably the greatest part. And the Lord and the Vigraha Murti is there to facilitate that. We see that what time he wakes up, he goes to sleep, he eats his meals, he has to get cleaned, he has to get dressed, everything we do just like we would do for a family member. And so by worshiping the Lord, this relationship, understanding he's a person becomes greater. Then the relationship, oh, this person is a person, now what's my relationship with him? Beyond just, I'm taking care. Yeah, so that grows step by step. But first, we have to understand he's a person. And before we can understand he's a person, we have to have the desire to serve and to understand him.
So it's like step by step.
Exactly.
No,
No, that's what Bhaktivinoda Thakur very much warns us against. To not, this thinking, oh, I'm a gopi in the spiritual world, and so therefore I'll start interacting with Krishna as a gopi. This is very dangerous. Yeah. So in this material world, as long as we're in this material bodies, we will be the servants of the Lord. Yeah. The pure devotee will even control his natural ecstasies to be able to better serve the Lord, to be able to better preach, right? There's the pastime Srila Prabhupada. He was chanting Jai Radha Madhava. He went into ecstasy, and he just kind of controlled it and then kept giving the class. Because if he went into ecstasy, everybody would be sitting there for 2 hours. No one would know what to do. He wouldn't be able to give the class, right? There's another pastime. I forgot this devotee, but he was serving Krishna, and he started feeling the ecstasy, and then he Uddhava, right? And yeah, and he's controlled his ecstasy, because if he didn't control his ecstasy, he wouldn't be able to continue serving Krishna. Yeah, so even they don't jump into this, I'm enjoying the ecstasy. Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Oh, here we have to.
Where's the mic?
So it's that the batteries.
We can shortly repeat the question.
Without mic should be fine.
Yeah. We can just repeat it for the live stream.
Okay. So my question is, for example, when we are in a material world, let's say we have a really close friend of us, like as Govinda Prabhuji said, you can go to their house, open their fridge, get the stuff out. So if let's say that friend is going on a wrong path, and you're trying to manner him by lecturing him or being and that friend resists you, what should be my dharma in this situation?
You want to take this one?
If you try to bring your friend back on a good path, but he's going on that addiction paths of cigarettes and drugs, and you try to bring him back, he doesn't listen to you, what should be my dharma as a friend with him? Should I let it go by saying okay, it's his karmas, or should I keep on lecturing him?
Yeah, people usually don't like to be lectured.
Yeah, that's what I know.
So if you notice, if you already notice, then don't lecture anymore. But you can always try to. The process which always works is a higher taste. Yeah. So if you somehow can, manage to convince him to give him a higher taste, bring him to a temple. If he enjoys a kirtan or enjoys prasadam, he realizes actually, kirtan can be a real party, without need of drugs. Yeah, that's the higher taste, And I've witnessed many people who actually, came for a Sankirtan festival. The Sankirtan festival at Simha used to be legendary, with all the brahmacharis from Europe coming, and at the end of the Prabhupada marathon, and a few people who were really into techno or rock music, they came to this is next level, like 3 days non-stop kirtan. And at the end of the festival, your legs, if you could still walk properly and your voice was normal, you didn't take part. So spiritual life can be very powerful and intense, and it can substitute certainly anything. So I think it's better. It's same with parents. Sometimes when children start becoming enthusiastic, even within devotee community, sometimes the parents maybe became a little bit relaxed, and then the son or daughter suddenly becomes very strict sadhaka, you're like, come on, you cannot mix this, one thing for everything, come on, it's one thing for Krishna, you start instructing your parents, you get in trouble. And also you make offenses, and you probably won't achieve what you want. So it's best to try to give a higher taste. Many people whose parents might not be devotees at all, they also fall into this pitfall to try to instruct them, But it doesn't work, Best is to cook nice prasadam, show them that your character is changing, So if by your character, by your, providing higher taste, that's the much better way. Because people don't learn necessarily intellectually, they mainly learn emotionally. If something feels good, they will do it.
Just on the same point, just quickly, but you always have to be careful for yourself. Yeah, so there's two types of association. You're giving and taking association. So like Govinda Prabhu said, you'll take him to something that you are comfortable with. Yeah, so you don't, he says, oh, let's go hang out at the club. You say, no, let's go, come to my house. I'll cook a nice meal for you. I'll do some, and then while you're there, you have Krishna there, you have the pictures, right? Or let's go to the temple, let's go for a walk. But you keep your principles very firm. So you're giving the association, he's not giving you the association. And that way you help him. When he's strong, maybe in a few years, he'll be a better devotee than you. He'll give you the association. Make sense? So like that, you can control, you can maintain the relationship without you going down. Make sense? Yeah. Another question? Prabhu was first, sorry.
Talked about something that Krishna talks through in the Bhagavad Gita, like midway through. He talks about detachment. So I wanted to ask, because what I believe is like, okay, all of our sorrows, the source of our sorrow is the detachment to maybe tangible or intangible stuff. So how to detach? I think I find it personally really difficult. It's easier said than done. So is there an easier path to detach?
If you keep reading the Bhagavad Gita, that's 7th chapter, Krishna is speaking that, if I'm not wrong, right? About attachment to material objects. After that, he starts speaking about Sakam Karma Yoga at 9th chapter. He starts going into how you can engage the desires of the senses in the Lord's service, and so therefore you are detached from the results. Understand? You become detached from the results. I'll give a simple example, cooking example, sorry. In the beginning, I eat lasagna because I like lasagna. Yeah. So what do? I start offering that lasagna to Krishna. I don't offer the lasagna for Krishna. I offer it because I like it, but I'm offering it to Krishna. So this is with desire for the results. Eventually, through purification of the prasadam, so basically the fruit of your desire itself purifies you. That's the magic of devotional service. And eventually you'll start thinking, what does Krishna like to eat? And so therefore you'll change from cooking for yourself for cooking for Krishna and offering it to Krishna. Makes sense? So any desire you have in this material world, you can try to engage it in devotional service. And so therefore you become detached and it purifies the desire. Even simple things, I like nice cars. So I'll buy a nice car, but I'll use that car to take my family to the temple. I'll use that car for driving devotees to and from the airport. When I'm in the car, I won't play nonsense music. I'll play some nice kirtans. I'll listen to lectures. And so therefore, that purification while you're using that thing that's fulfilling your desires will help you. I like to go snowboarding. We go snowboarding together. What do we do on the mountain? We have a speaker. Gita came last time. She had a speaker with Ayendra Prabhu kirtans. We had a picnic up on the mountain. It was a time to spend time with devotees. We spent really nice time together there, going down the slopes, chatting, talking. But what were we doing? We were fulfilling our desire to go snowboarding, but at the same time associating with devotees. Make sense? So there's so many different desires you have, but to get detachment from them, we're not trying to forcibly push them away. Some things, yes. The 4 regulative principles, right? We don't break those. We're intoxication, meat eating, gambling, and illicit sex. These things we push away forcibly. But then we still engage those senses and other things so that they're still not going to rebel against us, let's say. Right? We're able to gradually purify them and become detached. And so therefore, you don't fall into that misery when they don't come to you. Make sense? Sorry? Yeah, exactly. You don't fall into that misery. I've seen it in my own life so many times that you endeavor so much for something. But when you have Krishna consciousness strong, when that thing doesn't come, it doesn't bother you as much, You try to get money, you try to make a trip with your family, you try to go, whatever it might be. And when that doesn't come, you see it as Krishna's arrangement, that for sure he's protecting me from something. For sure he's not giving it to me for a particular purpose. You understand? So when you start having that relationship with Krishna, when you start serving Krishna and offering the fruits of the results to Krishna, it really doesn't matter so much, and you stop suffering. Because otherwise you spent, a few $1,000s to buy tickets to go somewhere and it's raining. You go to a beach and it rained the entire time. There was mosquitoes. The bungalow wasn't what you expected, blah, 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 blah. It can ruin your life. How many months you worked on to get that money and it didn't work. But when you see it through the eyes of the devotee, Krishna didn't want it to happen. Okay, I tried, I put the endeavor, Krishna didn't want it. For some reason, for sure, it happened that way. Yeah?
I should not feel sad about it if I don't get it, but I know that I shouldn't, but somehow I would still feel, okay, why
Exactly.
didn't get this, what I
Exactly. But that's when you get more and more not comfortable, how do you say, when you progress in Krishna consciousness, you'll see that it's for Krishna's arrangement. And in the beginning, people say it, oh, Krishna's arrangement. We say it, even though we don't feel it. But eventually, you start seeing, and you really start seeing it when you see why he did it. You really start seeing it. Why he did it in a certain way. Why he put you in. And it may take years to see why something didn't work out. But when you see it, then you're like, oh. And then every time something happens, you're going to think, why did that happen? Why didn't I get to see? Why didn't I get to experience that? Why didn't I get that car I wanted? Yeah? So when you start seeing it, then it's like, wow, Krishna really, really is in my life. Anything to add to that?
No.
Yeah? We can, yeah? We can do for tomorrow, Prabhu. You'll be first in line tomorrow.
Yeah, Kirtan Simha Mela ki jai. Simha Sena ki jai. No, it's really nice. We have the Simha Sena now in Germany. There's a famous Pandava Sena in London, in the UK. So now we're starting. So we're still at the beginning only, so the army can grow. You know. Hare Krishna. It's very nice. Ki jai. Simhachalam Dham ki jai.
Thank you very much. So now it's the practical side. I will read out a list of names for different services. So just remember your names right now, then we go into the details. So in the first, this is a new practice. So I sort of begged management, they were quite easy actually, but to say that we have a 2-day program and we want to put a lot in, so could we just have 2-hour service, but very condensed? So right after this, please go straight to it, take prasadam, and at 10 o'clock sharp, begin your service to finish at 11:50 actually. You have to squeeze it out a little bit earlier, right? Okay, so the service, in the kitchen, Akshay,